Hello, welcome to my video about AI today and tomorrow. My name is Jeff Comero. I'm only going to talk about certain things about AI. I'm not going to tell you how it works. I want to bring up some specific topics on AI. Chapter 1, AI today. The question isn't are we using AI? The question is how much AI are we using? A lot of the tools that I actually already use certain types of AI, like machine learning, like auto color tools, speech to text. These were created using machine learning. So we are already using specific types of AI for our creative needs. And there are two types of AI: assistive AI that helps us accomplish the task, like the tools, and then generative AI, which creates content from prompts. Here are some assistive AI tools of tomorrow. These tools will help us greatly edit faster, better, and have far better capability of creating more content. AI is a basic term, it's a blanket term for a lot of different things are being rebranded as AI that were just basic machine learning. And to not be fooled by sales, ask someone in simple terms how their AI is good and works and how it's different than their competitors. And yeah, if you get because it's AI, then you know to run. Chapter 2, the future. I couldn't find an exact example of a room of people doing graphic design like at an ad agency, but this is a room of people doing AutoCAD, which is now all taken up by the computer. AI has changed the world. The cat is out of the bag. At the turn of the century, 38% of the labor force worked on farms. By the end of the century, that figure was less than 3%. When Adobe came out, the old school agency guys were against using it. They thought you had to do everything by hand in order for it to be creative. Now it's hard to find anyone who doesn't use software for creating any type of design. Now, with that said, open your mind to this perspective. In the future, say 200 years from now, we will look back at movies from today the same way we look back at classical music. Chapter 3, the not so good news. AI has no safeguards. You can download your own language learning model on your personal computer today. It is available right now. People can bypass any restriction out of sheer human determination, and some of these people don't value artistic content even though they can consume it. With AI, there's an IP paradox. Whether or not they allow IP licensing, your IP exists in the world, and users can ask their AI to use IP characters and worlds. So, how is Disney going to make money and control their IP from being outside of this transaction? The good news: you are a special and unique person, and you have a beautiful imagination. AI cannot think up something that it can't reference. It doesn't know what it doesn't know, and that's where we succeed and create beautiful stories. We need to take the tools that these tech bros create and use them to enrich our lives. They created the devil's paintbrush, but only we know how to create a masterpiece. We don't even know what human brains are. If we cannot replicate a human brain, the AI will always be different. AI and human cognition will remain fundamentally distinct, and I say at least for a few hundred years. Who knows? Chapter 5, the law. There are a myriad of problems with generative AI, like IP and copyright infringement, misuse, harm, bias, regulatory compliance. There is a massive shadow war going on between media companies and tech companies. There are a dozen lawsuits right now that will set the stage for AI for many years to come. Now, with all these lawsuits happening, the AI community has come together to create the Content Authenticity Initiative. Within Adobe, you will create a piece of AI content and manipulate it using AI tools. And when you export it, the computer will translate that, and someone will be able to upload your image to a website and be able to see what you did to create that image and that it was created with AI. I think that there are many implications on this, and I also think that what if you create the image and then manipulate it further? Would it still be caught in the system? Can you copyright generative AI? Yes, you can, but at what extent? How much effort? You need to have a long, extensive, detailed prompt. You cannot include famous people or artistic styles. And after the initial generation of the image, create 100 revisions, manipulate it 100 times, and then you can basically argue human intent. Chapter 6. Let's dive into generative AI. Here are some questions that you should ask yourself before jumping in and using generative AI for your project. Is it cheaper? What value does it bring you? Does the AI understand the organization, internal workings, data, and processes? Here are the effective ways we use AI to automate a task that is probabilistic behavior, reduce dependency on human labor input, analyze customer data and generate content tailored to each user's individual needs, and create engaging content. Now we have reached the best part, the finale of this presentation, where I'm going to talk about how we will work with generative AI in the future. This first technique is something that I came up with, and then the second one is from someone who works at GitHub in machine learning. So here's AI process one, which I believe will be quite popular, where you'll create basically a treasure trove of content that the computer will pick from. Like today, you can go and film and create renders and take photos, pump that all into your database, and then let the computer edit and manipulate and choose what content to deliver when to your audience. This technique I found online from Tiferet Gazit, which I thought really well exemplified the future process of using generative AI. And here's my layout of this technique, that the most important thing is that you examine the results and you iterate on those results, and then you revise again after checking for bias and quality control. Chapter 7 conclusion. Assistive AI and generative AI parallels using any other valuable tool. It might not deliver the desired outcomes and could potentially lead to inefficiencies, and its effectiveness hinges on its appropriate application. And yes, I used the help of AI a little bit on this presentation. Thanks for checking out this presentation. Goodbye.